My name is Commissioner Frank Avila. I'm a commissioner at the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. And the name of our show today is Election 2020. And I'm going to present two of the most important races in Cook County. The first one is commissioners of the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago.
Right.
And as my guest, I have Deyon, and his ballot number is 132.
Yes.
And the second office that is very important also is the 49th Ward Democratic Committeeman that Bill Morton is running for, and his punch number is 252. And as my guest, I have Trudy, that is his campaign manager. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
Oh, yes, I
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
As I mentioned, these are the two most important races in Cook County.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they
Yes,
are.
Yes, they are.
Now, Trudy, please tell us about Bill Morton and his qualifications to serve as the 49th Ward Democratic Committeeman.
Well, Commissioner Avila, first of all, I love your theme song for Election 2020. And Bill's work, he's been a resident of Rogers Park and the 49th Ward for 17 years, and he has served as the president of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce for over 10 years. And your song mentioned we want to keep the earth healthy and beautiful. And then this is what the bill advocates for. He wants to keep our businesses strong. And in order to keep the businesses strong, we're community advocates. We're probably the most active advocate of the community for chambers of commerce. We're always hoping that to defend the community, to preserve the livelihoods of the small business owners and their employees, and the development. Bill advocates for reasonable, very sensible development that is not about gentrification, but that helps families provide for the future and makes strong families, strong communities. And that is his work for over 10 years. He was working at this. That is what he believed in before he became the president of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce. And it's that hard work ethic. He works over 60 hours a week without getting paid for it, and that qualifies him for the position of 49th Ward Committeeman.
Well, I think I'll vote for
yes.
Bill Morton as the 49th Ward Committeeman, and his punch number is 252.
Thank you so much, Commissioner
I second
Avila.
that.
Oh, thank you. Deon,
Definitely.
Dean, briefly tell us about you.
Well, again, my name is Deyon, punch 132. I'm excited, Trudy. First of all, I want to thank the commissioner for having me on today. I'm extremely excited about running for Cook County Water Reclamation Commissioner here. And there's many reasons why. I'm a 26-year public servant. I've served as a youth commissioner, trustee in the Village of Riverdale 3 terms, and the mayor, and also associate director, which was an appointment under 2 governors of the state of Illinois. So I've worked very hard for a community. So it seems like most of my life has been in working in community for organizations, youth organizations, other civic duties as well. And I'm excited about the water reclamation because at the time that I ran for mayor, we had a huge water issue going on. And I never thought that I would run for Cook County Water Reclamation, but I'm here today.
What 2 governors appointed you as director?
I was under, not unfortunate, but I was under Blagojevich and also under Quinn, the next governor after him. So I worked for the state for 12 years, and it was a wonderful job.
Quarter of a century's work in public service.
Yes, yes.
Commissioner Avila, how about you? Briefly tell us about you, and how many years have you been a public servant?
Well, Trudy, I have a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering and a Master's in Finance, and I've been practicing engineering over 30 years, and I understand we design roads, bridges, buildings, over the 30 years, and I always wanted to run for office. You know,
Okay.
and I said, you know, if I run for office, what office would I run for? And Deyon Dean was a mayor of Riverdale.
Yes.
That's a hard job.
It definitely is.
Because as a mayor,
Definitely.
you're God. They want you to serve. They want you to do everything.
Everything
See,
for everybody.
but I'm not God. See, but I wanted to run for office that if I got elected, I knew what to do. So I was looking at all the offices, and I said, you know, a Metropolitan Water Reclamation District will fit me good because it's an engineering type of agency, and I understand the agency from A to Z and design and construction and the financing of it. So I went home and I told my wife, you know, Sherry, I'm going to run for office. And I won in 2002. And I was very happy. You know, campaigning is hard. I wish everyone would go out there and vote for Frank Avila, vote 1, 2, 3. Vote for Deyon Dean, 1, 3, 2. And vote for Bill Morton, 252 for Ward Committeeman. Because it's, as I mentioned, it's the two most important race in the county. These are local race, and these are very important. And so that's why I ran, and I ran 3 times, and because it's my background, my experience. And that's why Deyon is running. He's the mayor. He understands. He listens to the people. So that's my background, Trudy.
Yes, and your energy and your care, that's what strikes me about the two of you.
If I can add just a minute, is that Frank said something very important. Mayors do have to be everything for everybody. But one of the things in having an opportunity to actually be trustee, we chaired different committees. We chaired finance, public works, we chaired economic development. These things prepared me to become the mayor. I chaired finance, you know, all the different committees I've chaired. So it was a great opportunity to be a part of that, and the learning from it was just, I think it prepares me for what I want to do today.
I think there's a lot of compromise that you learn, and then you can't please everybody, but you could please them as best to the best of your ability, and that's through compromise.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Dean, briefly share some of your civic activities.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you have time? My civic activities is vast. You know, I've been on United Way in the South Suburban area. I've been on Latino Youth Organization. I work with Stedman, which was Oprah's is Oprah's fiance for Athletes Against Drugs. I've worked in Thornton Township with the Human Relations Commission, which deals with multicultural issues in our community, and us working together. What else? My other civic duties were working through the state, having an opportunity to work with the different youth organizations throughout the entire state of Illinois and dealing with their funding issues and issues of just, making sure that our kids are living a healthy life, through life skills that they've learned through those different programs. So it's been an exciting time for me. And then there's a multitude of other things I've done as well, radio and television, dealing with community issues. So I think that it's vast, and it has been great. The time has just rolled real fast, but it has been a lot that I've done.
Thank you. Commissioner Avila, what about you? What are some of your civic activities?
Well, as Dean mentioned, I could go on and on, but but I, as my kids were growing up, we were heavily involved in Boy Scouts and in Girl Scouts. Because as the song, when we do our show, excellent song, Kids for Saving the Planet.
Yes.
I mean, who's going to save the planet are the kids. So I'm still involved in the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts. My wife is a laughing teacher. And so she says, I got to laugh. and so she goes out and gives talks, laughing talks to Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts. She finished a lecture with the canine service dogs. They're therapy dogs, they're service dogs, and police canine dogs. I'm sorry, and these are comfort dogs. They have over 130 comfort dogs, and she gave a talk to, and I'm her assistant, that we go out and give a talk. I'm involved the month of February. Throughout the whole month, we have Engineering Week. We have what we call future cities, where the schools, I'm involved there, where the schools are. They have to do a project on designing a city, and they have a certain theme each year. The theme this year was water. You design a city around water. And the kids did an excellent job. They knew more than what I knew. The kids are very,
Yes.
I mean, oh my
The
God.
children show leaders.
Yes, and they had the growing their crops for them to eat. They use water for energy.
Right,
They use water in their house. They had transportation. I mean, they had everything in that future city as it relates to water. Because why is water precious? Water, the good Lord made our body 65% of water. Every creature on the planet needs water to live.
Oh, yeah.
So the theme was water, and these kids did an excellent job. The school that won first place, Deyon,
What was it?
was ELSIP.
ALSIP.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Wow.
And they're going to go to Washington, D.C. to compete against all the United States and a couple of countries outside the United States.
Well, it seems like there was a bunch of that. It's a lot of life skills that's been in this program that you're speaking to,
Yes.
and that's what we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
So the life skills is preparing them for life, you know, and if they're involved and engaged in those activities, it becomes precious to those young people. And again, what we talked about a week ago, Frank, you and I, is that a lot of times our kids teach the adults at home. Once they
Yes.
learn those skill sets and they are excited about it, they go home, they talk about it with their families, and it makes the family become more engaged in what's going on.
And these are the civic activities that Deyon and myself have been doing. And as Dean mentioned, kids are going to save the planet.
Yes.
And the team, they had about 10 students to a team. It's a 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. And they had boys and girls, or sometimes it was all girls team. And they had prepared a model.
How long did it take for the whole project? How long did they spend on the whole project?
Oh, we give them a couple months.
Okay.
And they have to prepare a model, and they have to do an essay, and they have to do public speaking and go up and talk about their projects. And I tell you, they're excellent speakers. I said, I could not compete with this. Thank God they're not running, Deyon.
They'll sit us down real quick if we with the technology that they have and how they know how to tweet one another, do this, that, and the other, they'll be over the globe. We'll be done.
Boy, if they were old enough to run for office, I would vote for them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I was conversing with you about them, and it's fascinating what they're able to do at so young an age.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I mean, as the mayor, I had an opportunity, you know, we work with our young people as well. We had them coming in, working in the village of Riverdale, doing things for the community through Riverdale. So those life skills, you have to constantly be engaged and involved and giving them things to do that are going to be productive in their lives as they become young adults and ultimately become mothers and fathers and leaders of the community. So, you know, that's what I took pride in doing also.
Yeah, what Bill Morton, as president of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce, he is very dedicated to the interns in the internship program. They like that personal guidance about the different projects, and they learn all sorts of life skills through that as well, be it something in a marketing program or being advocates in the community and everything. It's anything that we need. They're willing to learn, and they ask questions, and it takes time. They need a lot of guidance.
And I'm glad you mentioned internship program,
Yes.
because that's very important.
Yes.
You know, where if a student out there is going to college, he needs a little experience also. You know, Deyon, at the district, I institute an internship program there.
Oh, wow.
And it covers every discipline, because at the district we hire lawyers,
Yes.
biologists.
Right.
And so anyone out there that wants to apply for an internship program at the district, it pays $15 an hour. And just go look on our website, MWRD.org, look on the careers, and apply for an internship program at the district. $15 an hour.
That's excellent.
And for young kids.
That's excellent.
Because we are the expert in what we do. We
Yeah.
are the expert.
Yes, and then you were interviewing with me on WZRD earlier, and you mentioned that you'll be, or at least a representative from the Water Reclamation District will be at our job fair in Rogers Park at the Teal Room at 6956 North Glenwood Avenue on February 13th from 4 to 6 p.m. And someone from the Water Reclamation District will describe all sorts of different opportunities for job seekers.
You know,
Thank you so much.
Bill Morton has is that every 2 weeks or every?
We had them monthly for 2 years. Now, some of the, for instance, the Census 2020, they asked us, please have it more frequently than that. Make it twice a month instead. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, it's a good program.
Very good program. Very good.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. So, Trudy, what else do you think we could talk about here at the station about why Dean and I are running for office?
Well, it's first of all, it's civic responsibility. You just have to, if you want a better world for yourself, you have to be willing to make a better world for others. And that's what running for public office is all about. It takes a lot of dedication, a lot of time, a lot of sacrifice.
Yes, it does.
Oh, yes. Because why? Because we're serving the people.
Correct.
We're not serving ourselves. Once we get elected, our duty is to listen to the people, listen to the residents of Cook County and their needs, and try and accomplish and do what they need here in Cook County.
I mean, and I agree with you 1,000% because it's all about listening to the people, but also we're residents of Cook County. We know some of the things that are going on, but in hearing what they're seeing and hearing in the community or experiencing in the community, we can work with them better. So I look forward to that. Some other things that I always talk to you about, Frank, is the fact that even though we deal and we clean the water and we want to make sure that that's the number one thing, we still have to deal with the fact that there's a lot of work that comes from that.
Right.
There's, contracting work that comes from that, and we want to assure that those who receive contracts is fairly spread amongst all of Cook County. That means all ethnic background. I mean, our budget is what, 1.1 billion?
Yes.
So we want to make sure that those contracts, when they're doing principal projects, they're doing subcontracts, all are engaged and all are given the opportunity to be a part of that. As well as, we do know we have labor jobs in the water reclamation, and they do get around, but we need to get out there more and let people know more about those jobs that exist. And not only on the labor level, but also in the executive level. What's going on up there? We have a lot of people who are looking for work. They're sitting at home with master's degrees, dealing with civil engineer backgrounds. We need to get them engaged, involved, and get it out into the community on how they can do this. So that's what I'm looking forward to being a part of as well.
And Bill Morton's job, when he wins as committeeman of the 49th Ward, will be getting people to vote, increasing the voter turnout so that they could start becoming engaged in what matters in the community. The first step is to vote. And Bill will help to secure that vote because there's a lot of stuff that goes on that people don't realize. For instance, what happened in Iowa. You would never think that that's going to happen, but it did. So Bill would make sure that that doesn't happen. And voting has changed. Before there was not a paper trail for the electronic machines. Now there is, but for instance, there will be 3 machines at every ward. 2 of them will be iPads, but after the voter votes, there will be a screenshot of the ballot. And then print it out, so there will be a paper trail. But of course, there will be someone that will be finding a way around that to do something about that. And Bill has to be on top of it to make sure that what people voted gets into the system, that their vote counts.
But Trudy, I think it's important that the people understand, and I really want to put this out here, that politics is local. Though we see all the things that are going on with the presidency and how that's fallen out, we have to understand what happened in Iowa is, even though it was on a national level as far as the politics, it's still local. So we have to get involved, engaged, and understand what's going on in our own communities, in our own cities, so that Iowa situation doesn't happen again.
Right.
And but for them to vote, Trudy
Yeah.
and Deyon, they have to register.
They have to register.
Yes.
They have to go out and register. I don't know what the deadline, but please go out and register for you to vote. And when you do go to the polling place, vote for Deyon Dean,
That's right.
number 132 for Commissioner of the Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago.
Yes.
Vote for Bill Morton for the 49th Ward Democratic Committeeman, and his ballot number is 252. And vote for me, Frank Avila, and my ballot number is 123. Just the opposite of Deyon.
We're the opposite.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
and 1, 3, 2.
Yeah, mine is 123. Deyon is 132.
Yes, yes.
So you can't get mixed. If you get mixed up, at least you're going to vote for those numbers because you're going to vote for both of us.
Yes.
I also want to tell the public as well, Frank, because you know I'm always direct with some of my. If you don't complain if you don't get involved, don't complain if you don't vote, don't complain if you do not register to vote. You have to be involved in order for change to change.
Yes.
So we're just asking you, even though we're asking you to vote for us, you have to be registered in order to vote for us. So if you're not registered, I think there's a lot of places out there in your local town that you can go get registered at your town village hall and City of Chicago, some other places as well. Go online, it'll tell you how you can do it, and get involved. Make a difference with us.
Well, Bill Morton is, he could register. We, as committeeman, as a candidate now, we are registered to register voters. And what is important is that we have to be careful about the voter purges. That is
yes.
voters being unjustly being purged from the polls, from the registered voters list. Sometimes when voters come, I have served as an election judge ever since 2012, and sometimes voters think that they are registered, but they're not. So right now, you are able to register on the day of the election. However, for the mail-in ballots, you have to be very careful about that, because when you mail in those ballots, they are not counted until election day.
Correct.
And then on election day, when it's discovered that a voter is not registered, there's nothing that the voter could do about it, and that vote doesn't count.
Correct.
So by all means, try to vote in person, either by early voting or on election day.
Yeah,
That's
because,
very
you
good
know,
information.
a person could lose a race by 5 votes or 1 vote.
There were ties in which there were just a toss of a coin to determine the winner.
Yeah, one time as a trustee, I ran my second time, and a gentleman almost beat me I beat him by 26 votes. So I'm just saying, like you say, it could be 3 votes, you know. So we got to make sure that we register to vote. And a lot of times in the community as well, they change the actual voting locations. You got to stay on top of that. And sometimes it becomes discouraging when you get off work and you go into the area that you think you're supposed to vote, and they say, well, we don't see your name. They'll tell you to go find the other place, but sometimes they don't. So don't get discouraged. Just ask the question and say, okay, this is where I normally vote. Where do I go to now? And so that you can vote and exercise your right.
And for early voting in Chicago, it's been changing. At first, on the website, it said that it would begin on February the 6th, but that has changed, and the location has changed. Right now, early voting will start on February 16th. It's the super site, only one site throughout the city at 119 North Clark Street. And so you could early vote at that one location from February 6th through March the 1st. From March the 2nd through March the 16th, you have your own polling place at every ward. So that will vary. Wherever you live, you vote at the site in your ward. Then, of course, March 17th is the general primary, the day of election.
Yeah, interesting. As Deyon was mentioning, that the national race has already been decided here in Illinois because why? It's a Democratic state.
Correct.
So we're going to vote for a Democrat.
Correct.
So and that's why Dan was saying that the local races are very important.
Right.
Now, our race is that we're dealing with the health and welfare of the public.
Yes.
We're dealing with your lives. We are dealing with the kids' lives because, as I mentioned before, they need water. And they need a water supply, which is Lake Michigan. And so we protect the water supply, Lake Michigan.
Correct.
We're not the water filtration plant. We provide them the water for them to filter for drinking purposes. And that's why our race is very important to protect the health and welfare of the public. And that's why the ward committeeman race is also important, because why, Trudy? Why is the ward committeeman so important? Because what they said, what policies? Explain it.
Well, they set policy. They determine which candidate is most qualified and slate the party candidate to vote the Democratic ticket. And also, the ward committeeman's job is to increase the voter rolls. It's very important because usually I've served as an election judge, as I mentioned before, since 2012, and we've noticed that people like to vote during the federal elections, like the presidentials. But what affects people's lives most are the local elections, and that voter turnout is very low, and it has to be increased in order for more voter representation in our government.
Yeah, and so, as I mentioned, what's your opinion on our race, Deyon? We are the most important races here in Cook County.
Yes.
Yeah.
My opinion is you hit it on the head, is that water is life.
Yeah.
Our race is extremely important because what we're working on is the future. Even though we're living for today, we're working on the future to better the future. When we're dead and gone, hopefully that's thousands of years from now. But we want to make sure that we've left things in order, that our young people are drinking the freshest water that they can drink, that their communities, as far as their infrastructure, is in order. We want to leave things in a strong and sound way. So I think it's a very important race. Most people don't know what water reclamation does. And so having this opportunity to explain it to the people and let you all know the importance of it is what we're going to be out there doing as commissioners. We're going to be working together. We're going to be out there doing some united front type of meetings with all of the leaders in the community. Frank, having the opportunity as the former mayor to form relationships with mayors throughout the state of Illinois, especially in the South suburban area, it's tremendous. I can pick up that phone and I can bring them together and really let them know what we're doing, but also get their ideas as to what the issues are, because we don't know all of the issues unless we're being told. So having those relationships up front has already prepared me and readied me to work with you and the other commissioners on the board, which I look forward to working with, and going out there and saying, hey, what do we do and how can we best serve you?
That's excellent. And don't forget, guys, this is election 2020. Right. I'd like you to go out there and vote for Deyon Dean.
Yes.
His ballot number is 132, and he's running for commissioner of the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago.
And we want you to vote for Frank. I'm going to say his number. Number 123. And then we want you to vote for Bill Morton. And his number is?
252.
252.
And then also remind you that for our race, you can vote for 3.
The earth is my heart.